Hello everyone, I'm back here with Patrick Wind. He's Forbes 30 Under 30, a total expert in Facebook and Instagram ads. And I'm Andrea Massa, I'm an audiovisual producer. And well, today we're going to be talking about iOS 14. How is it changing things for marketers? What changed?
Well, first of all, iOS 14 is the new update from Apple. So Apple operating system, so iPhone, iOS, operating system. And the new one is the version 14. And in general, obviously for all the iPhone users, it's a great thing because from now on, they can decide actively if they want to share their data with platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Google, Pinterest, Snapchat. So for the users, and from a perspective of privacy, obviously it's a good thing.
Yeah.
But for us as advertisers, if you
Not
want...
a very good thing.
Nah, it's not the best thing on earth because you want to track your algorithm needs some optimization events and you want to retarget, which is a really big thing.
So how specifically is it changing how marketers use Facebook and Instagram ads? How is it affecting them?
Exactly. So for us as advertisers, it was a wonderful paradise that imagine that Andrea comes to my website, I sell watches online, she comes to my website and she checks out a red watch, adds to the shopping cart but doesn't purchase.
Right.
So me being a Facebook Instagram advertiser, having the pixel properly installed, I can re-impact you now for the next 180 days, showing you this red watch, exactly this model, giving you a specific discount on day 14, for example, and really incentivizing this purchase of yours. But now, you being an iPhone and iPad and MacBook user, now for me this is not going to be possible in the same way anymore, okay? Because I'm not allowed to track anymore which kind of watch you have been interested in, when you have visited my website, how deep you have gone down in my funnel. And for us as advertisers, there are mainly three big disadvantages. First, there is going to be a black box between the amount spent and the website purchase conversion value, so to say. So imagine that each month I spend 1,000 euros in ads and I make 5,000 euros in return. Great, but I'm not going to be able anymore to really measure how many people in between have I lost, for example, at the add to cart stage, at the initiate checkout, at the view content, wherever. So there's going to be a black box. I cannot measure that thoroughly anymore. First thing. Second, which from a technical point of view is a huge disadvantage, the algorithm of Facebook and Instagram, and also from the other platforms, they need a lot of data points to properly optimize. So if you have already run some Facebook and Instagram ads like you did, Andrea, or like I did myself, we know that currently broad audiences work very well. So it's not anymore the best practice to say I want women in Barcelona between 20
Super
and 30.
specific.
That's not working anymore that well. What you typically do is you have a broad audience, like everyone interested in online marketing in Spain, 4 million people, an audience like that. And then you leave the algorithm optimized for you. But how does this algorithm, how does this machine do it? Well, they basically collect a lot of data points, data signals, like everyone who adds to the shopping cart, everyone who initiates the checkout process, everyone who purchases. But if the algorithm doesn't have this information anymore in real time, because now they even talk about like having this data transaction being delayed up to 3 days. There are many, many things like going on right now. And all of this is weakening the power of this algorithm. So it cannot optimize that thoroughly anymore. So this power of broad audiences is most likely going to be less and less. And the third argument, which is for me always been the most, the most outstanding one, is besides that you cannot measure that well anymore, besides that the algorithm doesn't optimize that well anymore, is obviously I want to retarget you. You came to my website, you were interested in the red watch, I want to show you the red watch again, but I'm not going to be able to do that anymore.
So then what would you suggest marketers actually do now?
Well, action items for you as Facebook and Instagram advertisers, there are basically a couple of things that you can do, but the sad reality is you cannot just solve the issue. You cannot oblige Andrea to accept the tracking. But first of all, it's still not the end of all days, for a couple of reasons. First, what I would suggest marketers to keep calm and to not panic. First, this only affects iOS users, so Apple users. Many of us use iPhones, many of us know a lot of people who use iPhones, but it's still just around 20% of the entire Facebook and Instagram ad users. So 80% of the users are not really affected by that. So first of all. Second, out of these 20%, there's still going to be people that actively say, hey, I don't care if they track me. Like me, for example, I love to receive personalized ads.
Right.
Okay. So out of these 20%, not all of them are going to say, no, please don't track me. Like nobody can really scientifically already predict how many people are going to say yes and how many people are going to say no. But let's just assume, to make our life easy, that half of them are going to say no, half of them is going to say yes. Okay? So the ones that say yes, you can still target them and everything is perfect as it was before. Only the ones that say no, there you have an issue. Okay, so what can you do now? First action item, you have to verify your domain. What does it mean? You basically have to go inside your business manager, and there you have to go to the settings, and there you have to verify exactly the domain that you're mainly running ads for. In my case, adsaccelerator.com. First thing.
Okay.
Second thing, unfortunately, from now on, you cannot track infinite conversion events anymore. So you cannot just, so a conversion event, what's a conversion event? Like if I sell watches, you come to my website, it's a page view. If you add to the shopping cart, it's an add to cart. If you purchase, it's purchase. These are all conversion events. And typically in e-commerce, it's not that big of a deal because you do not have much more than 8 events.
Right.
But me in my funnel, it's a webinar funnel where I track people when they come to the sign up page, when they open the box, when they come, when they have signed up, it's a thank you page, when they start the webinar, when they're at minute 30 in the webinar, when they're at minute 60 in the webinar. All of these are events that I track. But unfortunately, with this iOS 14 update, you can't. You can only measure up to 8 events from now on. Okay?
Really? Wow.
So you have to actively decide on which are these 8 events that are the most important to you. Okay, in my case, I'm most likely going to cut like minute 30 and minute 40. I'm just going to say, do they participate? Have they stayed until the end? Have they bought? Okay, so what you have to do is you have to actively decide on these 8 events inside your business manager, because if you're not going to do it actively, Facebook is going to decide for you. And it's also not so bad if they decide for you, because they're going to take the ones with the highest volume, or they're going to take the ones that had the most interactions, or the most times they have occurred. So that's another thing that you have to do. First, verify your domain. Second, decide on which are the 8 most important events. Third, if you haven't done it yet, you have to definitely apply the new attribution window, which is 7 days click and 1 day view. Up until now, it was possible to track data all the way back until 28 days post-click, which means that if you see my ad, you click on it, but you do not buy today, but you buy within the next 28 days, I can still attribute this sale to my campaigns. Now this window is only 1 week, okay? 1 week if you have clicked, and 1 day if you haven't even clicked, but if you have only seen it. It's a post-view attribution, okay? So now you have to get along with it, because there's no way back. Actually, Facebook was in the dilemma of either adapting their entire ads manager to this new setting, okay, so with the 7 days and 1 day, or creating one specific ads manager for iPhone and another one for Android. Okay. And they were deciding for that very, very heavily. They were like, should we do this, should we do that? And at the end, they decided, in their perspective, for the user, to make it as simple as possible. So only one ads manager, which works for iOS and also for Android. But at the end, to be super honest with you guys, I would have probably decided differently, because now they have, instead of having 1 weak ads manager for iOS and one very strong for Android, which is 80% of the users, they made like a hybrid, which is now weak for both. So instead of having one strong and one weak one, they have 1 weak one for both. Why do I say weak? Well, because the Android one could have had all the previous advantages of like 28 days post-click window. It could still have all the optimization of the algorithm, all of the retargeting, everything would have worked perfectly fine, you know? And now it's just they decide to put everything together. So what you can do, honestly, as an advertiser, or you can do with your ads that you're running, first, you have to verify the domain. Second, you have to decide on these top 8 events. And third, get ready for the 7-day click and 1 day view attribution window.
Okay, so yeah, there's no need to panic, because I'm pretty sure that once iOS actually did all these changes to privacy and people couldn't track anymore, of course, there was a little bit of panic. But of course, if you add these, if you take action and you actually put these into place, I'm pretty sure that it's not going to completely disrupt your funnel. But thank you so much for those tips, Patrick.
You're more than welcome. See you in the next one.
See you.